gentlemen, my name is 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗍. Today we have Celia Mantshiyane. She is the CISO in South Africa. Prior to that, she was the CISO of Coca-Cola. She is also one of the most renowned cybersecurity professionals from Africa and even globally. But more importantly, she was recently featured as a guardian of cyberspace by the CyberExpress. So please join me in welcoming Celia to CyberExpress.
Right.
How are you doing, Celia?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to 2023.
Right.
A lot of things coming through, a lot of challenges, but as well as a lot of benefits that are coming for our organization in terms of our strategy.
Right.
So I'm great. I'm looking forward to 2023.
Great. How did you come to know about the news? Was it very random, or you were privately informed that you were shortlisted, or you had basically featured in the list? How did that go?
I was shocked, right? I was shocked.
Oh.
I woke up one morning there. I see somebody linked me on LinkedIn, and as I look at it, I'm nominated for top 10 guardian. I'm like, wow, this is big, for an African girl. So it was quite surprising. I was very humbled, whether I won or not. The fact that I was nominated was quite huge for me. And my company celebrated it as well with me, so it was nice.
So amazing. I'm really happy for you. Okay, so I think, a couple of things probably, you are a leader, an influencer, and more importantly, a woman who's doing incredibly well in the space of cybersecurity. How did the journey begin? How did you stumble upon this, domain of cybersecurity, which is basically pretty rare?
And I normally say to people, cybersecurity chose me. I never chose cybersecurity. So
wow.
I started off my career in finance, right? So I've always been business.
Okay.
I've always been crashing the numbers. And I worked for a broadcaster at that time. And then I got an opportunity to join Auditor General, which is an audit firm for South Africa. And then I started working in IT, and I met an incredible leader. I mean, you are what your leader really creates you. I must be honest, I'm very humbled of the guy. Literally, I was taught IT within a short period of time. I was in the office of the CIO, and he would literally throw me to any end. I was the senior manager for projects. I was the senior manager for architecture. I was the senior manager for governance. And then obviously cybersecurity was just one of those buzzwords that was coming up in a concern for organizations at that time. And because I'm a person that likes to learn, I said to the boss, you know what, because we can't find someone, let me get a stab at it. And wow. I enjoyed it because every day it brings you new challenges. Every day you learn something new, and you actually get to engage with business, which is quite nice.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing. Okay, and so I got the part where, you were there. You're probably there at the right place at the right time, and you took a very wise decision. Okay, I'll give you that. Next thing, but you were probably among a very few female, especially in this industry. And I think you're also aware of the fact that, there is just 24% women in the entire cybersecurity industry. So, and that has been stagnant for a couple of years. So how did that particular, thing change for you? Was there any kind of an impediment that you had to follow?
To be honest, leadership and mentorship is quite important. Even now, we don't have much women in the cyberspace. There's a lot of things and programs that we're currently running to ensure that obviously we get women into the space, but it's mainly driven.
Right.
So how did I get there? It was the right place at the right time. But I guess finding a mentor, whether it's females must find, whether it's a man or a female, as long as they are in that space. Because it's literally, currently there's qualifications, which before there were not qualifications for cybersecurity. Unlike back in the days where we had to learn firewalls and all of that. Currently you can go to university, you can register for a course to better yourself. But at the same time, there are internships that are currently running just for cybersecurity. I mean, MTN currently is running a massive intern program for just women as well. Included in that program, we've selected women. Currently, in my own team, we are hiring women in the cyberspace. Wow. So it's about us as leaders doing something, but as well partnering with our organization to ensure that we have equality within the space.
Right. Wow.
and we
So
need to
let-
transform it.
Exactly. I think it's a lot about inclusivity, and then I think the gender gap has to come down drastically. Okay. So which year did you become the CISO for the first time, or when did you just get into this role?
Oh, the CISO for the the name itself, CISO for the first time. I think it was in 2018 or 17.
Oh, okay.
At Coke.
Mhm.
That was my first CISO role. Very, very exciting. Oh, Coke was very exciting. You can only imagine it's a global organization.
Right, true.
Well-grounded. And you need to learn how to actually engage with different people from different cultures, but at the same time speak the same language, which is cyber.
Right.
So the love of cyber, literally from Coke, I think I matured in Coke very well. Hence, it was quite easy for me to transition into a network organization as well, which is MTN. So that's where I started at Coke. And I think I was grounded at Coke from that point end. But in terms of security itself, I think it started more than 10 years ago when I met the CIO and I'm in the office of the CIO. But mostly at that time, it was governance, mostly governance. I mean, we used to think of it as governance, always following, are you doing this? Did you patch? Did you do this? Well, did I know that actually I was moving into cyber bit by bit, and here I am today. Is
great. Got it. Wow, beautiful set actually, and I'm really excited about this journey part. So you did mention a little bit about how you forayed from governance to public post technology to becoming a CISO. How has it changed? And because there is always this mentality among companies, that the regulations and bodies, the regulatory frameworks are just check boxes that the company has to tick, and that there is not a very good concept of cybersecurity by design among companies. So how has that evolved from the time you were in the governance to now that you're now you're a CISO?
I don't want to undermine governance. It's quite important, right? Whether it's audit or governing on a monthly basis. But to be honest with you, as cybersecurity has literally increased in the top 10 risks of organization, you find that currently you have to be an organization that moves away from technology security, right, to more business security. Okay. And that's how it has evolved. So you will find that back in the days where we used to sit in our IT corner and you discuss what IT is, the cyber risks that are out there. Currently, as a CISO, I discuss with business. Literally, I have to ensure that the strategy of the cybersecurity strategy that I have aligns to the business strategy. And then you become a trusted advisor on how we actually maneuver our cyber risk within the organization. So that's one area where it has changed. And also leaders that are currently, I mean, as a CISO, your personality and your trustworthy is of importance. I mean, you can't be a cybersecurity and then the next thing people don't want to engage with you. You need to be out there. You need to have better language that is business language driven. I mean, you can't be talking IP addresses and number 145 with business, right? They want to understand the benefit, the outcomes, and when and the how, to ensure that it affects their bottom line, right? The objectives of the organization. So that's one area also that has changed. But besides that, from a technical point of view, security by design, things that, I mean, back in the days, we used to patch just at the end, this was firewalls at the end, but now there are now processes and procedures that we are currently embedding into the process. Third-party risk management needs to be very proactive in terms of how you actually ensure that security by design is embedded into every system, every project within the organization. And you could never have enough resources for all of it, right? So hence becoming a trusted advisor and ensuring that you can speak to different stakeholders to ensure that they understand your policies, your processes, your baselines, your standards, and they actually comply to those is quite important. So you actually, as a cybersecurity officer or office, you actually need to work with other people to deliver what you need to deliver for the organization. So that's where the trust comes from, the integrity comes from. So as a leader, that's what you need to be. People need to trust you so that they're able to perform whether you're there or not there.
Wow, that was very beautifully said. In fact, I was actually
Thank you.
not understanding, not actually anticipating such a philosophical and a deep response to that. Beautiful. Okay. Now that you have been in South Africa, you're basically a native of South Africa. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is basically about the cybercrime dynamics in South Africa. I think 𝗬𝗃 just recently conducted a survey, and then they said, South Africa ranks 6th among the global cybercrime density. And then, it also costs around 2.2 billion annually. So the cybercrime catastrophe in the region is pretty high. What are the reasons for the trend, and how has it changed? Is there a change in this? Is there a sense of improvement? Is there more policing done here?
I think one of the reasons one is there, there could be many reasons, right? Lack of controls could be one of them, which is quite obvious. But I think it's lack of investment into the cyber security environment or hardwares or softwares. Organizations, I think at that time, if you look at our budget, cybersecurity used to feature 0.02 budget of IT,
Right.
So in most organizations, it was never a priority, right? It was always IT, and how to better our systems and our tools. But I think the pandemic taught us that obviously with all these increased hacks that has been happening in South Africa, obviously now the CISOs, the business, the executives, the COO, they now understand the importance of it. And as much as we're paying technological debt of cybersecurity, but we're improving as a country to ensure that obviously we are up to par with the global standard. Currently in South Africa, there's a cyber bill that's just been passed. There's a whole lot of things, committees, forums that we are attending, conferences, just to ensure that we're all bettering ourselves. And also lack of knowledge. In South Africa alone, not only do we have big organizations that have the budget, but we also have small organizations that don't have the budget.
Right.
So you found that in those committees and the forums that we have, we give advices, we partner with them, we advise on what basic things they should have as a minimum. Don't just pretend that you won't be hacked. It's a matter of when are you ready, can you respond, and these are the things you should do. So knowledge sharing is quite important, which is something that we're doing currently, and it's working quite well. And I must be honest, our controls and our standards are global, right? It's a matter of which ones can you afford to implement, or which ones can you afford to maintain. Because implementing is one thing, but cybersecurity, you need to maintain your status quo. One minute you could be very secure, tomorrow you could not be secure because of a phishing email. So also
Right.
cyber awareness is quite important for all of us, big or small organizations.
Great. I'm loving all the answers that you're giving. It's very elaborate. In fact, I just thought you probably touched base upon it, but I just I genuinely loved what you said. Okay, now that we can move to one more thing, and that's basically you were witness to the kind of cyber attacks that were happening in 2022. What do you foresee for 2023, and what are your predictions? I know it's the most cliched question you will be asked this a couple of times by several journalists. I get it. Bear with me one last time.
I am asked that question every year, and I think I always get my predictions right, so I must be wisdom. But I think literally, and someone will still be at the top of the list. Attacks will still be at the top of the list in terms of 2023. Third-party risk, security risk management will still be at the top of the risks, especially now that we're moving to cloud and outsourcing our services to vendors and third parties. Roles and responsibilities are quite blurred between the two when we move into the cloud. So that would still be a risk as organizations are transforming and transitioning into the cloud. And cyber threat is also one of the problems. I'm not sure if all of us see it that way, but I normally think that organization, we are so equipped with what is happening externally that sometimes we're missing what is happening internally. So that's quite important. So those are my top 4, besides the basic ones with the EDRs, but those are my top 4s that I think currently would still be at the top of the list. I mean, if you look at the current data breaches that are happening globally or South Africa, it's because of insider threat, or it's because of misconfiguration.
Actually, yeah,
exactly, misconfigurations.
True.
So those are the kind of things that I'm saying. As much as we're concentrating into ensuring that we combat the external environment, can we combat and actually keep our internal environment quite secure, and our people to be informed on things not to do and things to do that could put our organization into jeopardy.
Got it. Okay, I do ask this, I think, because it's trending, and I'm literally asking everyone I'm talking to about how do they foresee how ChatGPT is going to change the world, especially the world of cybersecurity. Do you think that is happening? Do you think advancements in AI will also play a crucial role in 2023?
Sure, we had this topic about 2 months back about AI capabilities in cybersecurity. I hope I answer you quite quickly, quite correctly. So I believe that the cyber hackers literally are using AI, literally to attack us. But how much are we using to combat that from an organizational point of view? We're still in the infancy, right? But however, there are tools that are providing us AI capabilities. But however, are they integrated? Because AI needs to be integrated into other tools for you to make an informed decision or to then respond quite quickly. So AI will play a critical role and still plays a critical role into how we combat cyber crimes and threats within our organization. Quite key. But how it's implemented is the problem. And how it is actually utilized within the organization is also quite important, right? So in my own organization, I mean, we've implemented a lot of AI. But if it's sitting in different tools or it's not integrated, it's not giving you the outcomes that you want. So also, I think the implementation, the architecture of it needs to be quite informed or needs to be understood. But in terms of the relevancy of it, I think it is quite critical into how we are actually, because it's happening, how we are actually currently performing as organizations. I mean, we could never combat all these threats that we have manually. There's no way, right? So with all the tools we have, the source, all the technologies that we have for AI, we just need, I mean, one thing that bothers me a lot, I normally say to my team, I need a dashboard. I can't be logging into that and logging into this and logging into that.
Totally.
So I need that automation, that AI needs to actually integrate to other tools for me to make informed decisions that are quite good from an executive point of view. But from a tactical point of view, AI is perfect. I think for me, it's from a reporting point of view that we should actually improve on the reporting of it. And that's machine learning as well. I mean, how much machine learning are we actually utilizing for making sense, right? And then the tools are there, everything is there, but I think how they're implemented is also a challenge. But in terms of their relevancy into the future, there is no way an organization can do without AI. There's no way.
Wow. Okay. Brilliant answer. I didn't anticipate anything less from you. Okay. You did speak about something very relevant. That is that concept of transparency. There are multiple tools the CISO or the security team is using. Then there's the entire SOC dashboard about for the company, something similar to what you can look behind. As a CISO yourself, what are the key metrics that you have in your mind whenever you're using a security tool or you're going to invest in a security tool?
We've invested in security tools.
So what do you go with it? What do I want? What am I looking at?
So I think for me, it's that integration. I told you, integration of different tools, right? But the first thing, obviously, that really from a CISO, and because I'm a leader, is that executive dashboard. Right. To know what is going on right now. What are my reds? Where should I concentrate? And what are my greens and what are my oranges? So that when I communicate to the board, to the ESCO, I know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of what we are reporting on. So for an example, if we are doing security standards controls. I need to know who doesn't comply, who does comply. If it's a board of SIM or a SOC, I need to know where am I red, where am I not red, and where should I concentrate my efforts on. Because there is no use for me to be getting different reports coming from different dashboards. However, I'm unable to allocate resources to where I actually need it the most. So for me, it's about making informed decisions regarding my reporting. So for an example, one would say, depending on the maturity of your board, one board would want vulnerability management, which is quite good. But from my point of view, the board would want to see where would we suffer predictions, right? We're talking AI. Where would we suffer fraud the most in the next 6 months? Right. Then by the trends that are actually happening within the organization, I can actually anticipate that. Based on what I see, it looks like I need to allocate all my resources that are working on the green projects to the red projects, because I'm suffering the most, especially the investments that we made. If we're implementing a new tool, most of the resources would be sitting in a project mode. But what's the use of implementing a new tool if your current environment is not up to date? So that's when I said it's quite important for me to understand my greens, my oranges, and my reds in terms of my risk factor, my tolerance from the organization, and allocate my resources that way. So I literally just need an executive dashboard. What is wrong? Where is it wrong? And then I actually analyze on how to allocate budget and resources. Because with cybersecurity, what you plan for during the year might change almost all the time, depending on what's going on. What happens to one of the organizations in South Africa, let's say, and I'm making an example, let's say for an example, one of the bank gets hacked. Remember, this is we have one client with one ID, with one address. So whatever happens to my neighbor actually affects what happens to me, because it's literally the same client.
Right.
Do you understand what I mean? So is it that as much as they are going through a crisis, it means that spillover, I might just go through the crisis, because the same hacker has the same identity documents that I actually use also for my systems. So at that time, then I need to say to the team, okay, maybe do we also communicate to our clients in terms of changing their password? Because as users, as you know, customers, sometimes they use the same passwords. Do you understand what I mean? So my day is never the same.
Yeah, got it.
Never the same.
Wow. I am loving, like I said, it's a cycle of nailing the answers. I don't think I've had such a brilliant interview ever.
No. You know, last month when someone was asking me, I said, if one of my, and I call them other companies, but they're my partners, right?
Right.
And that's why I say the bank. You can only imagine there's one customer. Exactly. That customer is mine and is the bank's customer. So what happens? I have got invested interest on what happens to the bank, because I also need to actually protect the same customer. So it does not mean it is their issue, it's our issue.
Yeah, I get the part. That, there is a sense of camaraderie, there's a sense of, understanding that it's Apex. There are a lot of people at the same time, so yeah. Okay, I think that's about it. That was all the questions that I had. Do you want?
I'm enjoying this. Oh God, I'm enjoying.
Oh, we can have this. We can continue this if you want.
No. No, but I enjoyed it. You asked me very relevant questions, and I like the question when you asked me about AI. What am I looking for? And I want to tell you why. Because a lot of companies, they always claim AI and machine learning, and it's a sore for me, because I want value. I normally say to my team, I think they all have AI in their own systems, but it needs to integrate for it to have proper AI. It needs to be informed from back end to front end, because it's a process, right? It's a cycle. But if I have only AI in the SIM, in the SOC, I have no AIs or what's happening from an identity point of view, or it's not merging together, then obviously it's a problem. But there are very mature tools out there. We just need to integrate them for them to make better sense for us. We just purchased one of the tools called Citrix. I think it's lovely. But if it's not integrating with other applications and other tools that we have, it won't derive the value that we bought it for.
Got it. I think, yeah, the concept is make sure your programs are communicating with each other so that you have the best understanding of what is happening. Brilliant.
Yes.
Got it. Right. All right, then, Celia, amazing talking to you. Like, really, I just didn't realize how the time went. And yeah, I think great talking to you. Also, congratulations on being one of the guardians of cybersecurity. We are really honored to actually.
I'm really honored myself. Thank you. I'm really honored myself. Tell the team I said thank you as well for organizing the interview. I appreciate.
We'll keep in touch. Bye bye.
All right. Bye. Bye.